Hello everyone and welcome back once again to Inner Strong Games Presents. My name is Richard Cree and as always my co-host is Piper. Once again we're running solo. Michael is out as he's taking care of a church function at his hosting a church function at his home today. So Piper and I are going to try and wing it old school style, just us in front of a camera. Piper is currently engaged in a game of Reef Encounter based on her rules. Yes ma'am?
I can't find like this.
Oh, you can put it next to that one. Make a chain with it. There you go.
But like this, it's just two of them.
There's just two of them? There, now there's three. Alright. Well, while she plays Reef Encounter, we'll go through the next 10 in my top 100. Today we're going to go down through 60 through numbers 60 to 51. So let's get underway.
Lord Jamaica.
My number 60 game for today is Jamaica. It's not. Jamaica is a racing game for pirates. Where pirates are going to be racing around the island of Jamaica. Pinky, pinky, pinky. There's the island of Jamaica that the pirates will be racing around. What's neat about Jamaica is how the race occurs, because you're going to have the action cards. Yes, you want your boats and your dice.
I'm gonna raise the boat.
You're going to roll 2 dice each turn, and depending on those dice, you're going to decide if the roll is going to be a day action, or value is going to be a day action or a night action. So if I roll a 5 and a 2, I might choose to put the 5 under the day and the 2 under the night. Once those values are set, I'm going to have a set of action cards. But not this many. This is all of them combined. You can have an action card. You have to decide which action card you want to play. Whether it's
a little bit closer, or at least this.
Okay. Which action card you want to play? Because you have 2 options. You have a day and a night option on your card. For instance, this has cannon and gold on it. So if I were to play this one and I had 5 in the day and 2 in the night, that would mean I would get 5 cannon and 2 gold. Some have only directions. This is a backwards day and forward night. So I would move backwards 5, but then forward 2.
There. I'm moving out of the way.
Oh, okay.
Look, I can do there.
Also around the island there's several pirate coves, so to speak,
room for the boat.
harkening back to our first game. The pirate shelters where they drop their loot, and so you can land on these. You can try and pick up some of the treasure that's been laid out. You also have to feed your pirates at certain points in the game, depending on where you land. And you can still fight other pirates, hence the cannon that you might need to engage them. The game plays 2 to 5. I play 2-player. 2-player really emphasizes the race portion. There's not a whole lot of combat when you're only playing 2 players. But if you're playing 5 players, very likely you're going to be stepping on each other's toes and having to duke it out to get the resources that you want and or need. It also helps to send your other opponents back behind you in the race. A lot of fun. Another great family game. A lot of family games on this list today. That's really good. Fall right into kind of the middle of the list. That's good. Nice to know I think of my family that much. Sorry. I might edit that out. A lot of fun. Lots of, obviously Piper enjoys racing the boats around. Highly recommend it. My number 60, Jamaica.
9 seasons.
My number 59 game is Seasons.
Dicey.
Seasons, yes. Seasons is a game that's very dicey. There's a lot of dice. Go for it, Piper. Get all those dice out.
Yeah.
Seasons is going to be played against a backdrop of several seasons. And depending on the season depends how effective different resources are at being available. For instance, there's there's green. It's green earth, blue is water, yellow is fire, and red is air. So those different elements will combine to help you get crystals, and those crystals are what's going to help you get points throughout the game. And there's a scoring track, and as you can see, you can get a lot of crystals throughout the game.
Fire!
As part of that, getting your crystals, you're going to be rolling dice. And so they're nice, very nice dice. And it's a dice drafting technique, so you can be rolling the number of dice for the number of players plus 1. and then the first player will pick the dice he wants out of that pool, and then they'll go around until everybody's selected a dice, and the last one is just discarded. Although that's not discarded completely, actually the last dice has pips on the bottom that tells you how far the seasons will advance, 1, 2, or 3 places. And that's a lot of fun, but what really makes seasons stand out are these cards, these action cards, that depending on the number of resources, I call them resources, the number of elements that you play, or if you play crystals, that you can do different things to help give you unique actions throughout the game. And Seasons uses a drafting technique prior to the game, so you're going to get dealt out 9 cards, and then you're going to decide, and you can see here on the board, there's a 1, 2, and a 3, so there's a first, second, and third phase, or year, it probably costs 3 years. And so you get to set aside 3 cards to use in each year. So the first year you'll get to take your 3 cards, and then when you get to year 2, you'll take 3 more cards into your hand, and the third year you'll take the last 3 cards into your hand. And there are other ways to gain cards throughout the games. Those are the only 9 you're going to have. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze.
I'll play this one.
Sure. And so by using the cards, using the dice, you're going to try and gain crystals, and the player with the most crystals at the end wins. Seasons, my number 59.
8 Munchkin.
My number 58 game is one that a lot of people probably questioned. Why is that so high up on this list? And the answer is because it's my list, and I really enjoy Munchkin. Munchkin is a game of complete and utter randomness.
I'll play that one.
You know, this is all cards, just no dice.
Aww.
Just all cards.
That's cards.
And with those cards, there's 2 types of cards. There's door cards, as they're called, in which case those are behind the doors. You have your encounters, or perhaps you'll find a race, or what else did you find? What do you call it? A class. Thank you. The class. Thank you, Piper. I appreciate that.
A fire!
Fire. No, there's no fire. That could be a fire, I guess. But
I see some fire.
in Munchkin, you're a hero rampaging through a dungeon trying to get to level 10.
I moved to there.
Throughout the game, you can ask for help for one person if you do need help. And early on, those people will help you. A person goes up a level 2 early on in the game. It's not going to matter that much. But the level does matter as the game goes on, because you add that level to your combat strength. The combat strength that you've acquired that you've enhanced with other items, weapons or armor. What?
This way closer.
There's also treasure cards, and that's where all the good stuff is. After you beat a monster, you can draw from the treasure deck. Treasure decks might have you just instantly go up a level, or there might be equipment there you can use or not use, depending, maybe you're not the right class. Treasure has a value. Some of the treasure has a value, and if you get 1,000 points for the treasure, 1,000 gold with the treasure, you can turn it in.
Go!
With Munchkin, there are tons and tons of expansions. This whole box here is full. When I say full, I mean, stop making that noise. You stop making that noise. It's just chock full of cards, all the various cards that have come out for the game. And I don't even have them all. There's tons more. There's also what they call flavors of Munchkin. So this is Fantasy Munchkin. I also have the Space Munchkin. There's Wild West Munchkin, Pirate Munchkin, Kung Fu Munchkin, Mission Impossible Munchkin, Lulu Munchkin, tons of Munchkin. I think they just came out with like Conan Munchkin and Apocalypse Munchkin.
That's too much!
A lot of people don't like it because of the randomness. I don't mind the randomness. The people I play with don't mind the randomness, and we have a blast. Again, a lot of people are going to disagree. A lot of people hate this game. I tend to love it. My number, what were we at, Piper? 58? My number 58, Munchkin. My number 58, Munchkin. Zombicide. Alright, I'm here now to talk about my number 57 game. You'll notice Piper is not with me at this time. That's because my number 57 game is not a game for 3.5-year-olds. It's Zombicide. And as you can see just from the cover art here, definitely not something I want my 3.5-year-old daughter to be around. That being said, since I'm not 3.5 years old, this is a really fun game. It's a little bit reminiscent of another zombie game you may or may not be familiar with, and that's Last Night on Earth. Last Night on Earth is a kind of Night of the Living Dead, shuffling zombie team game. Heroes, one player is the heroes, the other player is the zombies. Zombicide is a cooperative game in which all the players are heroes fighting to survive in the urban environment against the zombies. And this game is packed, I mean packed, with zombies. That's just some of it. Look, I could do this all night long pouring zombies out of here. And the players are wandering through the city trying to complete scenarios, whether it's finding food or just surviving the zombies themselves. You really have to work together in this game. Getting caught up on your own is not good, not recommended, unless you want to be the sacrificial lamb for everybody else. The zombies that are in this one, whereas in Left 4 Dead, they're all just zombies. You can't get zombies with grave weapons if you buy the expansion. But here you've got the walker zombie. You've got the runner zombie. Zombie? Runner zombie? Runner zombie. You've got what they call the fatty zombie. And then you have the abomination. A wonderful cooperative game. A lot of different ways to complete scenario. The zombies spawn via cards, so as the cards are shuffled, different zombies can come out at different times, and also the players level up, and depending on the player's level, also depends on what kind of zombies show up, or the zombies get an extra turn, or they come out of the sewers. A lot going on in this game. Really looking forward to expansions for it. My number 57, Zombicide.
Join the dragons.
So in Wrath of Asharlan, what you're going to do, there's your map, is you're laying down dungeon tiles for your heroes to explore. And they're going to have encounters. They're going to encounter monsters, they're going to encounter traps. And there is a goal, there's a storyline, there's several scenarios included in the game, in each game. So between the 3 games, I have tons of scenarios now. And that's essentially it. You're going to run your heroes through the game, encountering the monsters, encountering the traps, rolling dice, hoping to survive and meet the criteria for beating the dungeon. Whether it's beating, usually it's like being the big major overlord, be it a wizard or a beholder or some other such. Here's just an example of the tiles. And while I'm not going to dump them out here, you get a ton. Between the 3 games, this whole box is full of the tiles that are stacked up. Excuse me. But it's also just full of miniatures. There's one from the Legend of Dritz. Looks like it's a Drider. There's just a bear. And some Grell.
I'll play when it is a bear.
Some trolls.
I'm playing with the bear.
You want to play with the bear? No, you're playing with the fish. You got to put all this stuff away first. You want to play with these.
I'm playing with these first.
Okay, you play with those first. There's also elementals. There's a water elemental. Tons and tons of miniatures. And beyond that, the new Dungeon Command series that Wizards of the Coast has put out. I almost said WizKids. Wizards of the Coast put out. The minis in there, they give you cards so you can use those miniatures with the Wrath of Asharlan series, which gives you even more miniatures and more monsters to encounter. Between these 3 box sets, which if they get a 4th one, put a 4th one out, heck yeah, I'm going to get that. This to me, myself, is the definitive Dungeons & Dragons experience. I've got the minis, I've got the heroes. And if I wanted to build a scenario, to build an actual role-playing campaign, I've got everything I need for it right here, and up here in my imagination. A great overall set. The rules are pretty simple, straightforward, not a lot to it. Legend of Dritz adds a few twists and turns, but overall, a great set. And the kind of box war theme. So if you love you like the undead, if you like vampires and such, and ghosts and skeletons, you go get Castle Ravenloft. If you like more goblins and dragons and orcs, the Wrath of Asharlan is a set for you. If you like the Dritz series, the Dritz Jordan and the R.A. Salvatore series of books, and the Forgotten Realms. You've got the Legend of Dritz series. It has all the Underdark, and the Drow. I like Drow, but everybody says it's Drow. Well, I know, I just been mispronouncing it for 20 years. That's fine. Or, do let me, get all 3, and you've got enough monsters to populate any kind of dungeon, castle, cavern, cave, whatever you want. Great series. A great game. A lot of fun. Can be played solo, can be played up to 4 players. Probably played it more now they have all these extra heroes running around. Don't put it up? We're going to put this up and play with the miniatures? Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not going to put it up, but I will show you the box cover one last time. I'm going to cover up Piper because we all know, everybody loves Piper. There she is, Wrath of Basharlan, my number 56.
I can't see the fish.
Okay.
Inside, you can go.
Alright, Piper's got her dragons and miniatures. And we've got Ink and Gold, my number 55 game. Quite a contrast.
Spiders.
Oh, there's spiders. You know what? There's spiders in this game too. Ink and Gold has 2 rules. Stay or go. Those are the only decisions you're going to have to make.
I'm playing that game.
You want to play this game?
Yeah.
Alright, let's get that out of the way. And there's Ink and Gold. You're going to stay or you're going to go. The game's played over several phases. And each of those phases you're going to draw a card. And that card is going to either have some jewels on it, and it'll tell you, that was a bad angle. It's got some jewels, like this one says 7 jewels. Those 7 jewels, you'll divide that up among the number of people playing, and any that are left over are going to get placed on the card. And then you'll decide at that point, am I going to stay or am I going to go? Am I going to take what I have and be safe and maybe pick up anything else that's left on the trail behind me? Or am I going to stay, go deeper and deeper, and try and get more money, possibly some artifacts, some relics? And you're thinking, well, why wouldn't I want to stay? Why wouldn't I want to get as much as I could? Well, because there's staying going is not the only thing that can happen to you. There's other stuff that can go on while you're going down. It might, like lava might burst through and flood the area. There could be a rock slide. Oh, really?
I don't want to play that one.
Oh, there might be a snake. You don't want these after all? Okay.
What's the dragon?
There's the spiders that we were talking about just a little ago. And then, of course, there's zombies, because zombies are always running around in ancient Aztec temples. This game is very light, but it's also a lot of fun. It holds up to 8 players. And 8 players, 8 people decide whether they're going to stay or go, because everybody reveals at the same time. It's 1, 2, 3, stay or go. I'm getting out of there.
It's heavy.
It is heavy. I'll help you out here in just 1 second.
Spider.
A great introductory game. A great game that, you know, for the whole family. I have a spider in my hair. Oh no. What am I going to do? The game's played over, you can do 5 rounds. You can 5 rounds of going to the temple. If those disasters that we saw, if 2 of those of the same kind ever come up, everybody's scared. They leave. They drop whatever they have and run out.
It's a tin spider, Mom.
Oh, it's just a pretend spider? No, I'm not your mom. I'm your dad. And so that's where the stay or go mechanic comes in, because you drop everything you have at that point, so you don't get to keep any of it. But if you got out of if you left the temple, you get to keep whatever it is you made it out with. And since the game's played over 5 rounds, what you keep, you store into a little tent, so that hopefully nobody remembers how much you got out with. In the game, you open up your tent, count up all the jewels that you escaped with. Whoever has the most is the winner. A great game. Highly, highly recommend it. If you don't own it, I think it's like $25. Go out, get it, put it in your collection.
Look, a snake.
Yes, well, there are snakes in Ink and Gold too, and there's a snake in Wrath of Basharlan.
It's a tin snake.
And there's an Ink and Gold at number 55 on my top 100 list.
It's a tin snake, Dad. It is a tin snake.
Okay.
And 4 apples to apples. Wow! A big 2 dragons. That's 2 of them.
There are 2 dragons. But dragons aren't in my number 54 game. It's Apples to Apples. Apples to Apples is the party game where you're trying to... One person the judge. I'm sure most people have heard of Apples to Apples.
That one?
Sure. One player's the judge, and they're going to have a green card that has an adjective on it. And all the other players are going to deal out... They have a hand of red cards that have nouns on them.
Where are they going to put them?
They're going to put them on the ground. So it's like... You put them out?
On this out of the way, please.
Maybe that's out of the way. So the players are going to try and play a red card from their hand that matches a green card that's been put down by the judge. the judge is then going to decide which of those red cards he or she thinks best matches the green card. You're not normally going to have this many green cards out, but Piper loves the green cards. After the judge decides, the person who played that red card gets to keep the green card. The person who has the most green cards at the end of the game is the winner. And then the judge will rotate around. So I'm the judge first. I decide that the best word, cheesy, is the green card. And I decide that Backstreet Boys is the best match for the cheesy. So Piper played Backstreet Boys. Piper gets the cheesy card, and then Piper becomes the judge, and Piper will draw a green card. A lot of fun. I cannot tell you how many times we have been left in tears laughing because of this game. We play with my family almost every time they come up, late into the night. A real blast, a lot of fun. If you're a big fan of party games, you probably all know about it already. If you're a big fan of party games and you don't know about Apples to Apples, go out and get it right now. Finish watching the video first, then go out and get Apples to Apples, my number 54.
There you go. Wait for you. In simple time.
My number 53 game is another one that I don't own, and I don't really feel like dropping the $200 that would get to pick it up these days. But that's Starfarers of Catan. For those of you who have heard of Settlers of Catan, Settlers of Catan is a game that is not on my top 100 list. Don't look for it. If you've been watching it all this time, waiting for it, I'm sorry to disappoint you now. It's not going to be here. However,
Play this with me.
I will play that with you. Starfarers of Catan, on the other hand, is a fantastic game, and is really what Settlers of Catan should have been. In Starfarers of Catan, you are exploring the galaxy, trying to find planets that have resources on them, very similar to Settlers of Catan, building your roads, and the planets are going to have dice roll numbers on them, so you roll the dice to get the resources off them, same as in Settlers of Catan. One of the things that makes Starfarers of Catan far superior to Settlers of Catan is that on the scoring track, if I'm below a certain score, I get a free resource. That doesn't happen in Settlers of Catan. Your slippers came off? Uh-oh. Well, you better get them. The other thing that makes Starfarers of Catan far superior to Settlers of Catan is the rocket ship that you use for encounters and for determining how far you get to move, how you react in certain situations. How combat. There's combat in Starfarers of Catan. The spaceship is just, I wish I had this game. It's totally awesome. They're like rocket models, like old Flash Gordon style rockets. You shake them, and then out of the bottom is going to come two balls, either black, yellow, red, or blue. And depending on what combination they come out, what order they come out in, is how it affects the game. The other thing you do is you can enhance your starship, your rocket ship, with better engines, with better lasers, to make it move farther, to make it be better in combat. You can encounter alien species that can, particularly star bases run by alien species, that can give you even more options. This is what Settlers should have been. There's Star Trek Catan that's out. Star Trek Catan does light years help for Settlers of Catan. If you're going to get a Catan game, Starfarers is out of print. It's like $200 on the internet right now. Get Star Trek Catan. It's the closest you're going to get. If you got Starfarers, you are a wonderful person. My number 53, wish I had it, Starfarers of Catan.
Choose Treasure Lords.
My number 52 is Dungeon Lords.
Want to play that?
Sure, we'll play this one. Dungeon Lords. Excuse me. In Dungeon Lords, it's the opposite of Dungeons & Dragons. Instead of being the hero going through exploring the dungeon, you're the Dungeon Lord who's preparing your dungeon from the heroes that are about to come and invade it. You have your minions, your little goblins. Where are they at? Oh, Piper's got them right here. See if I can take one and show people. I'm just going to show them real quick. I'll get right back. There's a little goblin imp. They're going to maintain your dungeon for you. And you can hire monsters. You can build traps. What are you looking for? What are you reaching for?
This one.
That? Okay.
And that one. Will you open this for me?
I don't know if there's anything in here that you really want. It's just...
Puzzle piece.
There's puzzle pieces.
Where are you gonna put them? Where are you gonna put? There.
Because the adventurers are coming. The adventurers are coming to raid your dungeon, and so the more traps, more monsters, the more things you can do to prevent them rampaging through your dungeon and defeat them is going to help you. There are also several other achievements you can reach, and I always forget about the achievements. I always forget about achievements, but they help you in additional scoring at the end of the game. It's got a worker placement field, a little bit of area control, how you manipulate your dungeon, and the tiles you get and how you place them to try and direct the adventuring party in the best way possible to defeat them. A lot of fun, a lot of options here. A great game, totally a blast.
How many play this game?
Yes, I will. Right after this. Right after we talk about my next game, but for right now, we'll talk about this game. Is this the lid? That's the lid. This was the lid. Dungeon Lords. My number 52.
Do I have to play this? And how many play this? 15 Star Wars game.
And that brings me to my number 51 game. Number 51 game, which is Star Wars, the card game. Exactly, it's Star Wars. It had to be on the list. I know a lot of people don't care for the game. They say it doesn't really fit the Star Wars theme, but you know what? I don't care. It's Star Wars. Oh, I'm sorry, am I getting this stuff in your way? Here you go. And take some. In this game, you're either the light or the dark side. You can be the Sith, the Imperial Navy, the Jedi, the Republic. They've got a couple, they call them scum and villainy, which are the smugglers, the bounty hunters. This game, the gameplay itself, alright, it's not the perfect game. There's a lot of issues with it. It doesn't really feel like Star Wars, the whole, what do they call it? Where you're laying cards face down to try and edge battle, I think they call it. That really I didn't care for that too much. But the trying to sway the force one side or the other, a nice little mechanic unless your opponent is able to get Obi-Wan Kenobi on the board in the first turn. In which case, just forget about ever getting the force back on your side. All in all, it is Star Wars. The artwork is great. The balancing technique they use, I actually enjoy. I didn't think I would. I really like it. There's actually, instead of drafting your deck... You want this? What do you want? This?
Mm-hmm. They're hungry.
Oh, they're hungry? Okay. The drafting mechanic, instead of a drafting mechanic, it's actually a 6-card set. So you have a base, for lack of a better term, and some cards that go with that base. So anytime you put that base in, you're going to have a set of cards that go with it. And it's a nice balancing technique that's used. The Republic side is trying to, or the light side, is trying to destroy dark side or Imperial bases, while the dark side or the Empire is trying to get the Death Star up to snuff. And it's getting up to snuff slowly but surely. It's going to increase one every turn, but you can do other things to try and speed that up. You have the Force on your side, you can advance it 2 instead of just 1. And I will be the first to admit this game is this high on my list because it is Star Wars. There's not that many Star Wars games out there that I enjoy. I do enjoy this one. It's not my favorite of the living card game set. I do enjoy the living card games more than the trading card games. I think actually overall of all the living card games on my list, I think this one comes in the lowest. But it's Star Wars. And there's another Star Wars movie coming out, and J.J. Abrams is directing it. And what more do you want? For me, not much else except to have Star Wars, the card game.
You scare me.
I'm sorry, was that too intense? But it's Star Wars.
But you're scared.
And it's number 51.
But you're scaring me real loud.
Well, I'm sorry I scared you. You accept my apology? Thank you. And thank you. Alright, and that brings us to the end of another video. This was the Top 100. This was number 6251. I appreciate everybody who's been watching so far, everybody who's subscribed, everybody who's liked us, who's commented on us. It's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the game demo. We're going to do game demos after this. We don't know exactly what games we're going to do yet. We've got a couple we're tossing around. But I'm enjoying this. Piper, you enjoying this? You having fun? Oh, that's right. We're a little yellow, or a little white doggy.
I'm baby white dog.
Baby white doggy. I'm sorry. I'm not a baby white doggy. I'm Richard. This is Piper, and thank you very much for watching.
Baby doggy.
Can you say bye-bye, baby doggy?
Bye-bye, baby doggy.
Bye-bye, baby doggy. Thanks. Oh, well, it's okay.
You better be careful with that.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that one. They have to glue it.
Yeah.